Today I have a 2011 Camry. Customer came in to have a computer installed. Now, if you guys have worked on a lot of Toyotas, as many as I have, about 13 years I've worked for Toyota, and I could count on one hand the amount of times I've had bad computers. I could probably count on two fingers how many times I've had bad computers, and one of them was caused by me, but that's a story for another day. But customer came in, he wanted a computer put in his car. He was adamant he would not let me diagnose it. So I put it in for him, didn't fix it. He actually has a P0017 cam crank correlation code. So I took the opportunity, even though the customer did not want me to diagnose it, I took the opportunity to show my apprentice two different ways that I would diagnose it and how I did diagnose it. I will tell you that the customer declined all repairs as well as diagnosing. I'll tell you that I approached the customer about repairing this, or at least digging farther into it, and he turned it down. So I'm going to show you in cylinder how I check my valve timing, and I'm going to show you cam crank correlation using my cam and crank sensors. So there's that. Now just know that I'm going to fly through this diagnosis. The customer is here waiting for his car. He wants to take it, he wants to leave. I guess he wants to go and throw more parts at it, which I guess is his right. But alright, so I have the WPS hooked up. It's on range 1. I'm going to change the probe and the picoscope to range 1 and let this idle, and I'll get you guys a waveform. You good? So I'm just going to spread this out so I can look at two compression strokes. As soon as I looked at this waveform originally, I was able to see that my exhaust stroke had a hump in it, as if my exhaust valve was closing early. So I grabbed my cursors and got my 720 degrees up. Then I grabbed the cursor and seen roughly, I'm going to zoom in on that exhaust, seen roughly where that exhaust valve opened. You can tell my exhaust opens at 119 degrees roughly after top dead center of my compression stroke. So I have a known good here, and you can tell that my exhaust stroke does not have that hump. And I measured my exhaust valve opening, and I am right at 138 degrees roughly. So it looks like I'm about 20 degrees advanced on my exhaust stroke, which is why I have the cam correlation code. All right, so my picoscope's only 2 channels. You can do a crank versus intake cam and then crank versus exhaust cam, but I have an autel scope that's 4 channels. So I'm just going to use my autel scope, and I'll get my crank, my cam, and my intake cam sensors all on one waveform. And I'll compare to them so that I can see cam timing this way as well. I'm just directly into the ECM. It was the easiest place to get all 3. So I'm going to fire this up, let it run for a bit, and get you guys that waveform as well. Alright, just like the touch screen on my picoscope, I'm going to spread this out. Just want to look at 720 degrees. Alright, so my crank is my red trace, my intake is my maroon-ish color, and my exhaust is blue. Now if you look, you have a small, a medium, and a large hump. Lines up directly with my crank mark, my top dead center mark of my crank. In my blue, I have a medium, a small, and a large. That is between the first and second tooth. So I'm going to compare those with my known goods as well. Again, we have our intake. Our intake lines up our intake lines up right with our top dead center mark of our crank, so that's good. Again, you have your small, your medium, and large hump. Now our green, I'm going to pull that down. Our known good is between the first and second tooth. This one is between the third and fourth tooth, which shows that our exhaust is about roughly 20 degrees advanced. How do I know that? You have 36 teeth on the tone ring for the crankshaft. Well, -2, so each tooth is 10 degrees. So I'm about 2 teeth off, about 20 degrees off my exhaust. Now my exhaust, my cam crank correlation waveform shows that my exhaust is about 20 degrees advanced. So does my in-cylinder. So well, there you have it. I hope this helps some of you guys out. I know I didn't go into as much detail as I would have liked to, but I got to get this guy out of here. I don't know if it was a customer. He says it was another shop that told him he needed the computer. Regardless, he didn't want me to diagnose it. I still told him he needed most likely timing chains and guides and tensioners, but he doesn't want me to look at it any farther. So just gonna button this one up. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and see you guys next time.